seemed to kind of be a benchmark for that team, like crowning a chief. And I was just wondering what you're looking to get out of this weekend, how many days we should pack for.
I know there's a mall right down there. If you forget something, you can shop there. No, I don't know. I mean, I think that we've always gone in these tournaments and said, hey, we got one game at a time, and if you're fortunate enough to win, you take a deep breath. You know, as coaches, we're always prepared to move right to the next game, depending on who you play. And you know, I think this year's Big Ten tournament could be one of the classics of all time, because I don't think anybody. I saw where that Warren Buffett's given $1 billion. I'd like to see somebody pick the route of this one as well.
Here.
I think it's 5 years in a row, 7 out of 8, you've made it to Sunday. Other than you always say players win games at this time of the year, but other than that, nobody's got that kind of record in this conference.
Yeah.
And is there, I don't know, anything you do that?
Believe this or not, I've had a lot of coaches call me
I would imagine.
and ask, and there isn't, you know, strictly in terms of, you know, we'll go very, very hard but not very long today in practice, just with the thought of, hey, you could play 4 games in 4 days. I've had to do that before, but in terms of preparation, in terms of pregame speeches, in terms of what we eat, it's kind of always the same. I don't know. I wish I had a secret.
Sam said last year he can remember a lot of guys' legs were really heavy going into that Sunday game. If you get to Sunday this year, they're going to be even heavier. What do you tell them, I guess, to help them get through that wall on a day like that?
I would simply say, I think a couple years ago, UConn played 6 in 6 days and won it. So if you want to feel sorry for yourself.
Have you used that line?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'm saving it. Don't print that, because I'm saving it for the team.
They don't read the paper.
Right. But no, I think, you know, from that perspective, honestly, you look a couple of years ago, we had that huge break, 11-day break leading into this thing, and Evan hit a shot at the end. We go to double overtime on Saturday against Illinois, and I think we're up 32-29 against Minnesota, and put 50 on the board. And you know, it just, who knows?
Are you proud of that, though, that you guys have done that? You've had such success in this tournament?
Yeah, I am. I mean, I think that when you look at the level of teams that are over there, and the fact that we've, whatever it is, have you know, won, you know, it does make me feel good. It says, hey, you're probably playing pretty good basketball at the end of the year. In terms of that, I know it means a lot more, I think, to the players and the fans than it probably does all the coaches combined in terms of going to these things.
Talk about playing 4 games in 4 days, but that doesn't happen unless you win your first one, then you win your second one. Just start with Purdue. You played them twice, you beat them twice, but neither game was, I mean, you blew them out in the second game, you pulled away late. Both games somewhat close games until the final minutes. Just your thoughts on them that kind of struggled here at the end of the season with the way they played. Just what do you see with Purdue?
Well, I think this, it's a new season for everybody now. In terms of this tournament, you know, we have seen them over the course of the last couple of weeks play some unbelievable basketball, and you know, they're a team that we know what they're going to do defensively. We've got a real good feel what they're going to do offensively, and you know, I think that their defense, the physicality which they play with, and they're going to pressure you. They're going to do all those things, but you know, we can't give up easy baskets in transition. We got down here early in the first 10 minutes or first 5 minutes because we weren't as ready as we needed to be, and we talked about that with our guys. That's something that getting out of the gates is hey, they've played a game in this building, we haven't. You know, we got to get in there and get our feet wet and go at them.
I know you're not into play Nebraska yet till you beat Purdue, but speaking in general terms, what do you see with what Nebraska was able to accomplish this season? I don't think many people thought they were going to finish in the top 8. They have a new arena, kind of energized things, and they won 11 games in the Big Ten. I don't think anybody saw that coming. Just not necessarily talking about the fact that you're going to play them potentially, but just your thoughts on their program and
I think
what they accomplished.
Yeah, they had a couple guys really get rolling.
Yeah.
and they're a little bit older than what they appear next to their names, and you know, from Petway and Shields, I mean, those guys are playing at a very, very, very high level right now, and I think that's probably, you know, they got a little momentum going, and that's been a good thing for them.
With that, I think as a lot of people who follow your program, the general consensus is that this team struggles to shoot at times. But I went back and I looked at the last few years, and it looks like your field goal percentage this year is pretty much in tune with each of the past 5 years, including, you know, the Diegler that you guys had a few years ago. You have a take on just the shooting percentage you guys have been able to maintain, and is it really maybe not as bad as people might think?
Well, I think the one thing you can never underestimate is there is defense out there, and in this league for 18 straight games, the defense usually night in, night out is as good as it is in the country, and so, you know, the ability to get easy shots, that sort of thing. I think the defense in this league is as good as I've ever seen it from top to bottom. Now, with that said, you know, we have struggled. I think that the biggest thing that we've struggled is at finishing, like around the rim. We talked about that so early in the season. You know, we were missing shots, and you know, going back to the Indiana game a couple weeks ago, like, I mean, you got to put the ball in the basket. We can't get much closer, and you know, that sort of thing. But you know, these guys continue to work on it. That's what I love about them, and you know, hopefully we can catch some fire.
Is it almost surprising to you though that you guys have been able to? I mean, the percentages are what they are. You know, mentioning some of the missed bunnies that you guys have had, and even the Indiana game where you struggled to shoot outside. That, you know, some of the teams that went to the Final Four and whatnot were really good shooting teams, and you're right there percentage-wise.
Yeah, you know, every team is different. You know, you go back to John and Dave in Dallas' senior year. I mean, I think we led the country in three-point shooting that year at like 42% or something. That really helps in a lot of ways, and having a big guy down there that I think Jared shot over probably close to 60% his freshman year. You know, that helps you drastically in terms of your offense.
Thad, Lenzel and Aaron seem like really nice guys. Did you, at any point, worry that they were too nice to be team leaders?
No, I think from the standpoint of they are very articulate guys. They're very intelligent, very trustworthy in terms of what they do. But when we go in there, they get after it. They compete, and you know, from that standpoint, I really don't care a whole lot what they're like, as long as they're good kids off the court. But it's between the lines and how they carry themselves. And both guys are ultra competitive when it comes to that.
Did their leadership at all evolve over the course of the season, since, I mean, the season had its ups and downs?
You know, I think that it has. I think, you know, as we get a little bit closer to the end, you see it more than maybe you did throughout the course of the season. But, you know, both guys know. I mean, I can get on them now and saying, hey, man, that sand, there isn't much left in the hourglass there. You know what this is about. You know what we have to do, and hopefully they can spread that throughout the team.
That in all the years that you've been in postseason play in the NCAA tournament, do you see a change in the players that they know that it's one and done time? And what is that change that they know that any bad exchange, bad?
Yeah, you know what? Every team is different, and every guy is different. I've thought about that. The question you're asking, if there's something I can build off of, or I saw this guy do this, I can talk about it. But it's you know, through the teams that I've had, they've all had sort of a different approach in terms of the mindset going into the game. So specifically saying, I don't have the answer, but I'm looking for the exact same answer you are.
I sort of asked you about this at the end of the news conference the other day, but you've had so many times in your career, whether you've had David West or Evan Turner or Jared Sutherland, or just a guy, you know, probably when things aren't going great, get them the ball and they'll figure out a way to score. And you see it, you know, hear Gary Harris go to. What's it like? How have you coached this team any differently? Is just life any differently when you maybe just have to work for stuff? You have to play defense. You have to be connected on offense because you don't maybe have a guy who can just bail you out. We sort of talked about it all year, but now here we are
Right.
at the end.
Well, you
How
just
do you go
named
through?
2 national players a year,
Like, it's
and
not like they're growing
2,
trees.
yeah, first team All-American.
Yeah.
And I say that because I don't think we had a guy in the first team All Big Ten team this year. So
First time in 8 years.
okay, and I don't feel like it's been any different because I think, Doug, what you do is you look at your group and you say, okay, this is what we got. How do we generate points? How do we get stops? How do we put guys in positions to be successful? But yeah, it is a little bit different in terms of the families of actions that we have. Usually they're probably a little bit more specifically geared towards, boom, this guy likes it on this block, we're going to get it to him, those types of things.
And when you get to the point where it's a new season for everybody, is it any different when so many times in the past you're putting the regular season behind you and it's been an awesome first place regular season, everything,
Right.
a lot of things have gone right regular season, and now it doesn't really do you any good, you got to go win.
Yeah.
Versus, not that this regular season hasn't been good, but maybe you're putting some things behind you that maybe it hasn't been perfect. Is there any different feel of like, okay, it's a good fresh start if maybe we had some losses that we didn't think we'd have or that kind of thing, as opposed to being the number 1 seed or number 2 seed right now?
Yeah. For me, everything happened so quick, and I've never really looked back and said, let's draw from, because what were we this time last year to the day we were 23-7. I think we're 23-8 now. Is that? I think that's right.
That's right, yeah.
Because we didn't play the Marquette game,
Right.
so we were a game down. But it's more, and as Bob had said, we've been in that game. You get out of that game on a Sunday night, they march you down into this room and you find out who you're playing, and we're like, all right, guys, go get back on the bus. We're going back to Columbus, and we're going to the NCAA tournament, and guys are like sound asleep on the bus. I mean, it is what it is. But I think that, you're from that point, it's like you're going forward in terms of what you got to do.
That this has been such a pivotal year, I think, in your mind, the team's mind for Amir Williams. He's done some good things, but there are more games this year where he's at 0 rebounds, at least in Big Ten play, than 3 shot positions. How do you gauge just his presence inside? Are you satisfied with the way that he's performed?
Yeah, I mean, we need him. We need him to play well, and I think from the standpoint of when he's dialed in, when he's got a little nasty side to him, he's a heck of a player, and that's what we're trying to get out of him.
Thanks, Coach.